In this video, I'm gonna give you a quick review of rule-based sentiment analysis in NLP. How does sentiment analysis work? Python implementation of rule-based sentiment analysis. Let's see what kind of structure do we have for sentiment analysis. Here you can see the sentiment analysis is a method of determining the sentiment or emotional tone of a piece of text, such as sentence, a paragraph or document, by defining a set of rules or patterns. These rules or patterns are typically based on specific keywords, phrases, or linguistic features that are associated with sentiment, and they are used to determine the sentiment polarity, such as positive, negative, or neutral of any text. So, rule-based sentiment analysis relies on predefined rules rather than using statistic or machine learning techniques to analyze text data. Here you can see a flow chart is given. From financial news article, we had a phrase extraction. The next part is polarity detection. We will discuss this polar keyword in few seconds. Then I'm going to identify for sentences. Later on, sentence value calculation will be calculated and polarity classification will be done. Finally, classified financial news article will be there. This is entire framework for sentiment analyzer. Let's see how does sentiment analysis work. First and foremost, I'm going to collect data from several resources. This might be any text, any magazine, any news article, any blog, any website, or any other resource. Then I'll go for cleaning this dataset, pre-processing dataset. Later on, I'll go for analyzing sentiments, which we are doing in this session. Then I'll be giving a score for this sentence, and then finally I will use this result for the final verdict. This is the complete cycle of my sentiment analysis. Later on, we can say this text blob will be used for this practical hands-on. So this is nothing but a Python library for text blob is nothing but Python library for processing textual data. It provides consistent API for diving into common NLP tasks such as parts of speech tagging, noun phrase extraction, sentiment analysis, and more. Here we have two more terms. First one is the polarity. It talks about how positive or negative the opinion is. Second one is subjectivity, which talks about how subjective the opinion is. Let's move on to the hands-on of this tool. Let's import text blob library from text blob. It is a Python library for pre-processing. So I'm going to run this blob. Can you see it's showing error? No module name text blob. So what I'll do, I'll copy this library name and will be import. We'll be writing pip install and then library name. Move up so that before this text you will have to download this library. Once it is downloaded, you can go back and use this library. As you can see, this is collecting all the necessary files and now installed. Let me run this cell again so that whatever error is showing on the screen won't be there. Can you see? Now none error is showing here. Allow me to create 4 sentences for our practice so that we can check the polarity and the other tools. So I'm going to create a new cell here. Let's create 4 sentences here. Now I'm going to check the polarity of sentence 1. First and foremost, I'll be printing sentence 1 Then I'll be deploying this text block over the sentence 1. Then I'll be using this sentiment polarity for checking the range. So polarity -1 means negative, +1 is the positive meaning. Let's go back to the coding part again and let's run this cell. Can you see this is showing 0.525, which means my sentence is having in between -1 to 1. If it is 0 means it is neutral. If it means it is somewhere positive. So what is the sentence? I had a great time at the movie. It was really funny. Yes, it is a positive sentence. So text block returns a score between -1 to 1, where negative scores indicate negative sentiment and positive scores indicate positive sentiments. Let's try for sentence number 2. I'm going to print this sentence number 2 first and checking this polarity. Can you see it's going to say I had a great time at the movie but the parking was terrible, which means this is completely negative sentence and the sentiment is also negative. Let's check for third sentence. This says I had a great time at the movie but the parking was not great. Yes, it is again little bit positive but showing the same aspect towards the positivity. So I'm going to check this next, which is fourth one. I went to the movie, which is showing here, which is almost neutral. Later on, I'm going to check the same part for the next library, which is called Vader. So Vader is nothing but Wellness Aware Dictionary and Sentiment Regional. This is Vader sentiment not only tells if the sentiment is positive and negative along with the intensity of the emotion. Let's see, we can import the sentiment analyzer or not. Yes, so I'm going to import the sentiment intensity analyzer from the Vade sentiment. Can you see it's showing no module name, which means again we will have to install the same Vade sentiment. So I'm going to run this cell with pip install Vade sentiment, hit run and allow to install it here. Alright, so we already created this import part which was showing error previously. Now I'm going to run this cell. You can see this is not showing any kind of error. Allow me to create this object for Vade sentiment and this would be intensity analyzer. I'll be using this object for my different sentence. First, I'm going to deploy over sentence number 1. As far as polarity score is concerned, this Vade sentiment is just checking this value here. So I'll have to run this cell and then I'll run this sentence number 2, sentence number 1. Now I'm going to check the sentence. So can you see this is the output where I'm having all the sentiments analyzer, all the respective terms and also respective score. Can you see this is showing compound and everything is just giving here. So this is not giving the sentiment analyzer but also giving the intensity of the given sentence. Now let's paste the second sentence which is showing the great part. Can you see this is showing negativity, neutral, positivity and compound. So everything given in a different section, which means you can find the other parameters as well. Now let's check for sentence number 3. Here you can see this is showing the different intensity. Let's deploy over sentence number 4 for the given part. I want to see, yes, this is giving the neutral part. This is how you can check your hands-on practice over the sentiment analyzer using the Python code. Let's see in a next video.